that's true. You don't necessarily need your hands to make love, because a lot of people are tied up and there's all kinds of kinky shit going on.
There are baby snakes.
That's right.
So,
yeah, what he said. But, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good hello to all of you. Welcome to another mind-bending, stimulating episode of Old Black Men Conversations. I'm old, I'm black, and I'm ready to conversate. My name is Brother David Harold Dudley III, also known as Baker, Cakey, Sweet Sunny D. And you, lady.
I'm Gary Green, trying to talk louder. I'm your favorite, your personal street philosopher. And I just want to say, am I loud enough?
Yeah, just keep the we'll roll with it.
Today, I brought a special guest on the end down there. Some of you may remember him as L.A. Lyle Design. No? Luther A. Lyle.
Government name.
Okay. I got more, but I can't remember them, so I'm going to hand them off to you.
All right. Hello. It's me again with my cohorts. And I'm the real Cliff Barnes, sometimes known as Regular Man. And I'd just like to say welcome, and it's good to have y'all here.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever it is, wherever you're at. I hope I'm speaking loud enough. I'm go by Jesse, or Uncle Jesse. You've already met this gentleman. Let us begin.
Yeah, so check this out.
Hold up. Y'all cold-blooded. So you ain't gonna let them say nothing?
That's Jesse, that's my big brother.
They said this is a little bro here. Sit down, be quiet. Go ahead.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the correct salutations are.
Time zone.
I'm Luther Lyle, also known as Lou. I prefer Lou. And, just sitting in for the first time with these gentlemen. I'm just as old as they are.
Who are you calling old?
The person who said he was old and black and ready to conversate.
Oh,
That would be correct.
There's a hint.
That would be correct.
It's
So,
a hint.
I'm just here to go with the flow and see how it goes.
So I'm told it's getting warm, but you know what? Ain't nothing like a P-Funk party, because a P-Funk party don't stop.
Yeah, for
So-
the last 60 years.
So we got an inquiry from one of our observers asking us if we knew anything about Charleston White. Heck to the no. We don't know who that man is. Sorry, we'll check up on it, but we don't know who that is. Anybody else know?
Not I.
Simply
What's his name?
Charleston White.
He said, let me familiarize myself.
We'll look him up now.
Okay.
We'll soon find out.
No, I also do not know of this brother, but I hear he has quite a following on social media, but I personally have not heard of him. But, you know,
Well, you ain't on social media.
I'm not on social media.
Well, that's one valid reason why he doesn't know who he is.
That's right. I don't, you know, I'm not on Instagram and direct messaging, and I don't tweet, I don't twit, occasionally I twat, but anything, the thing you have to remember is I'm not on social media. I'm not on Facebook. None of that.
Me either.
You know, so I wouldn't know who a lot of people are.
I be trying to tag y'all in videos, but Cliff, the closest I can get to you is your son.
That's true.
So I don't want to bother him with it, so I don't tag him.
My son has the same name, and a lot of times people think that he's me, and so they send me the most outlandish crap. And so then he'll send it to me and go, this person wanted to get in touch with you, and that's the extent of my social media
So
activity.
how do you get it if he sends it to you?
Because I have, like, what's that called, email? So I can email it to me, and then you get them little numbers on the text. You can text me, and then I know, and then I'm going, oh, because like he sent me the name, the number of a comic that I hadn't seen in a while, and so I got in touch with him that way. And so, you know, but no, social media and I are just like casual friends.
Well, hey, what about the rest of y'all? Y'all do social media?
I do not.
I
Right.
tried it, but I don't get some of it.
Yeah, my daughter's always showing me them TikTok videos. Now that's some funny shit right there. But
Yep.
you know,
That's why I make TikTok videos.
oh man, little tiny babies that are just born giving their people the finger because he didn't like his name. It was funny and shit. Anyway, moving right along.
Yes.
I was gonna read what I had,
Or Wikipedia
or
something.
Google.
Okay,
This
any of
fellow,
those.
this fellow named Charleston White.
Yes.
The question was, why is Charleston White so famous?
Okay.
Well, according to Google, it says he is talented. He is a talented comedian, a YouTube content creator, social media influencer, and the founder of Hyped, HYPED, which comes from Hype, which is the acronym for Helping Young People Excel.
What's the D for?
Because he went to jail, you know. Sometimes that alliteration don't get all the way out.
I thought you said hype
So did
with
I.
a D.
Yeah.
So I heard helping young people excel. Duh.
There you go.
Is there such a thing as a silent D?
Don't get hung up on this.
I'm sorry. It's semantics and all that crazy
I know,
shit.
you're a comedian too.
See, but I don't know.
Charleston promotes many brands through his social media accounts. He earned followers on Instagram and subscribers on YouTube. That's what
Nice.
Now, I don't know if that Wikipedia explanation
No,
sums
that's
up.
Google.
Oh, Google. I don't think that sums up the effect and, you know, kind of what he says and does in these interviews.
Right. You would have to see it live.
You might look at him as, you could say he's a shock jock. One of them says stuff for shock value, but then some of the things he says just be real stuff that other people don't say. So,
Well, that happens here a lot.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've heard several people amongst this group say things that people might be shocked by.
I almost brought one up, but I'm not gonna bring it up because I had to edit it out of one episode anyway.
And most of the time, it's opinions that can be expressed and that may not be along the lines.
What are you trying to say?
Sometimes you be fucking up.
No, that's
You talking about me? What you do?
he said, "What are you trying to say?" He's not trying to say it.
So
I'm not talking about you in particular, but you were the first one I was starting with. Then I was going to go to several other people that may or may not be involved or may not be here.
okay, because I was gonna say, ain't no.
What? We're not saying it. Remember, we're not saying it because when it was first uttered, it needed to be edited out. So why we gonna go get some more stuff to edit out when we already know what we
just
said?
wait till I call cut.
You know?
And then you gotta talk about it.
So just So
Well, you know what, and I'm only asking because I don't remember.
I understand, and you probably shouldn't, because it was beyond, and we'll discuss it later.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No, I know it's not you guys. It's just moi. These guys have no idea what I'm talking about either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There might be three of us that have that have an idea, and you're one of the three. But you don't remember, so I guess that leaves just two.
Do you remember anything?
I try to like get beyond the moment. I do the moment, then I try to move on.
Okay.
Yeah. You know,
It doesn't always work, but I try.
Remember to speak up now.
yeah. So,
You have to
what
give
do you think of Charleston Blue?
Charleston blue as opposed to Charleston white?
Oh,
I mean,
you know what?
no, what?
I just kept having this. I mean, when you're saying Charleston White, I kept having this vision of the movie.
Charleston blue.
Yeah, come back, Charleston Blue.
I remember that.
So that's why it's in my mind.
Oh, well, I thought, now that's somebody I heard of,
Yeah.
but he's a fictional character. Apparently Charleston White is a real functioning
You think
human.
that's his real name?
I really don't care. Because the thing about it is,
Yeah,
you
let's
know,
get off here.
the thing about him is maybe we should just stop talking about him until we know more about him.
I agree. So what do you got in your knee?
Oh, water.
Why is it in your can?
Why is it in a can?
Yeah, why isn't it in that can? Because that can is like a Dr. Pepper can.
I remember when water was free.
Why is it in that can? I did not see that
Remember
can.
that?
I guess that's the way they sold it to me, was in this can.
Remember that? When water was free?
It still
You
is.
remember when parking was free? Yeah, I remember that.
I remember when air was free.
That's a long time.
I know, it's crazy. Then it was, and
You know, you gotta put in coins. You can't even put in dollar bills. You gotta put in coins.
so you gotta have a credit card for a lot of them. Or a debit card, or an all card in general.
So did we go anywhere with Charleston White?
Yeah, we tabled him.
I thought we had tabled
We
him.
tabled-
Tabled him
okay.
until so we can just
We tabled
actually
him
look at him.
until the next.
So we know more about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk about somebody that we all know.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like,
Exactly.
get on to a conversation where everybody get in this.
Exactly.
Donald Trump.
Oh my.
What about
Somebody
Donald
know the
Trump?
name Fannie Willis?
Who?
Fannie Willis?
Fun, fun.
Bonnie Willis?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes,
She's
yes.
Fulton County District
She's a
Attorney.
DA and
I would say that black women have taken a lion's share of taking Donald Trump down.
they damn sure tried.
I don't know what the one in New York's name is.
Letitia James.
Letitia James, she's getting him on not a felony, but a civil suit.
Okay.
Then we just talked about Bonnie Willis. Bonnie is going after everybody.
That's Rico.
Everybody.
She-
the whole
She's going,
caboodle
yes.
of them. Not just Trump, but all of them.
19.
And then what's the sister's name who's doing the trial now? The ones that getting the death threats and stuff. Talking about
judge.
they're gonna try to kill her.
The judge.
Yeah. But that's three black women, and then you could look at, is the guy's name Bragg in New York?
Yes.
That's 4 black folks that's on his ass. Right on the black folks.
As well, there should be. They should be.
They should be because his group they targeted a lot of black areas. Philadelphia, Troy, Atlanta, challenged the way folks were counted.
So what do
All
all
that
those
stuff.
places all have in common?
Black folks.
Democrats. They were undemocratic. And he systematically attacked them. And then, you know, that Georgia, much different, because it's a RICO thing with their racketeering. And so, and their RICO laws are beyond the federal guidelines. So, you know, he may be in more trouble than he thinks he is.
So this is kind of like, as opposed to a criminal trial,
It is a
It is.
criminal
a
trial.
civil trial.
No, the other one.
No, I'm just saying the way this is going and the description.
It has
This
been
is
filed
compared.
as a felony, criminal charges.
Right.
Criminal charges mean you go to jail if you get found guilty.
Now, what's the difference between
And
that
civil
and
charges,
and the other indictment?
civil
What's the
charges,
difference?
you get
No,
money, a monetary
This is what
amount.
I'm saying. This is
Okay,
what I'm
he's
saying.
in trouble on 4 issues.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say.
He can't buy his way out.
You can't. Okay, so OJ had a criminal trial.
Right.
He got off,
Right.
but he went to jail behind the civil trial because they could do more than they could in the criminal trial.
Wrong. OJ went to jail trying to get his shit back.
That was another.
And that was a
another
felony.
issue.
And that was a felony because he was robbing people to get his stuff back.
And there was
Both of those are true.
That was not
Because
civil. That
immediately after
that
this-
was felony.
Immediately after the criminal trial that he got off on, he was sued by
Right.
The Goldman
the
family.
Goldman family in a
And-
civil one.
And they
Right.
won.
And he had to pay some money.
Right,
I don't know,
right.
my student.
And
Well,
And after that, OJ got hooked up with some people that said, hey man, these folks got your billion, let's go back and get it. And OJ must have said okay and went with them.
The smart thing would have been not to go with him.
That would have been a smart thing to do.
Because
But he got found guilty on that, and so he had to.
OJ was never no kind of smart because this nigga wrote a book called If I Did It.
I know. What's called?
Put him in jail.
What was called If I Had Done It?
That was.
No, okay. This is how, if I had done it, this is how it would have went down.
If it wasn't such a high profile thing, I get the side hustle mentality of it. It's like, well, it's a marketing play. But nigga, jail was real for you.
Yeah.
Somebody died. There's not something to play about.
Yes. Then he ended up in jail anyway after he was acquitted on.
Oh, and they was happy to get his black ass.
Oh,
You know,
boy.
let me tie something together if I may. The brawl that happened in Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
And 2 things to say about that. One is that it reminded me of when I first learned, and you guys probably all have some remembrances as well as to where you were and when it happened. When when the verdict came down, he got off. So this is the one part. The one part is I was working for the city about 2 years, and I was driving northbound on Bellevue, and I was at the light at Olive. You know where?
Yeah.
Hey, friend. You know, that little supermarket. I was right there,
Right.
and I was listening, and the verdict was just about ready to come down. And as soon as the verdict came down, I said, not guilty. I looked and said, yeah. And there was a brother standing on the corner ready to cross, and he was listening to the radio too. We both looked at each other and said, yeah. You know, like that. Like, for once, brother got off in opposition to what happened to those 4 police officers that got off on beating up Rodney King.
Rodney King.
The other part was I'm walking around Stewart Park. Usually do that in the morning. Walk down Stewart Park, do the loop. So I walk around counterclockwise. But there's about 4 or 5 brothers that walk around counterclockwise, right? So I carry this putter with me, right? Golf putter. And so I'm walking around with it. So they usually, when they see me, they come another way, you know, hey, what's up, man, what's up? This time, this was last Friday, I come around the corner, they see me, you know, and they all of them put their fists up at the same time. Right on, man, right on. I said, right on. So I told them, I said, I said, next week, I'm carrying a folding chair.
Hey, let me tell you, the marketing on the folding chair has gone through the roof.
Oh,
They got little phone holders that are folding chairs,
Yep.
keychains,
Yeah.
man, all
Yeah.
kind of things. I ain't gonna lie, if y'all go to my website, hustlermentality.com, I made a shirt too.
Hello.
I made a folding chair shirt too. It's like for the ancestors.
They got folding chairs doing their own bits.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, a
yeah.
black man invented the folding chair.
Of course.
You know, now he's gonna go get some money for this? I mean, he's still a patent, I don't know.
His family, but because he's probably getting out.
Right?
I wish every automatic and semi-automatic weapon could be replaced with a folding chair.
Well, that would level the odds.
Yeah.
You said say it again?
I said I wish every automatic, semi-automatic weapon
Could be.
could be replaced with a folding chair.
Yo.
Yeah, sure.
There'd be a whole lot less people getting killed in this world.
That's true.
Cause
Waking
that-
up tomorrow to live another day.
But we have a society of Saturday nights. Brother had to do some time for that, cause
Like I said, let me find the GoFundMe. I will put some money
you know
on the
what I'm
books.
saying.
You know.
But I'm telling you, that was folding chairs would be good. That was-
Traded a chair for your AR-15.
Right. You know, but the problem is you have trouble like carrying it around with you.
As soon as you walk in, they see you with a chair, they know you're here for some trouble.
But it wouldn't be a concealed. It wouldn't be a concealed weapon.
Oh
You
man.
can't hide. It's hard to hide a folding chair under
Telling
your
you.
overcoat.
Folks is gonna try to go to the parade, the police gonna be stopping them, like,
Of
what you doing with
course.
this weapon? I'm like, I'm just trying to watch the floats.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to, you know.
Just put it on your back, just like a backpack, and
I like
strap it in
I like it.
and walk home.
Right. But then it's hard to get it off when you need to use it.
No, that's when somebody invents something. Just a one click, swing around.
Yeah, boom.
Ninja
Oh, yeah.
folding chair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Now, hey, okay. If any of y'all invent that, we get a finder's fee.
There you go. Hey,
So
Pop,
I'm just
but
saying.
we should
What's the
invent
thing
the walker
today?
to look like the folding chair. And when,
A rolling folding chair.
boom!
Bam!
I'm in the action too.
You know?
You know what? You could actually use that as is as a folding chair. Because it
As
folds
a
up.
weapon.
Boom.
That's right. As a weapon.
Bam. Ow.
That's right.
Oh, man. I wish I was there.
Okay. Now, any of y'all listen, I'm telling you, if it come out on the market,
We're gonna
and
know.
we hear about it, we'll know.
We'll know.
We
That's
get a
right.
finder's fee. So, you know, make that check out to,
Say it loud podcast.
No, make it out to Chris Dudley, and then he will disperse the money accordingly. Don't make it out to Say It Loud Podcast.
or
That account
you
don't
can
exist.
make it out to,
Okay,
you
James.
can make it out to,
There you go.
you can make it out to Cliff Barnes, there's less letters.
There you Ha! He won. All right.
But anyway,
What else we got?
yeah, so what else is going on?
Well, it's almost time. Man, what the hell is wrong with these damn Seahawks? Why is it every year there's some brother
They're gonna be fine. But there's
that
always
does
one.
something stupid in the off season,
I know.
and you get up to the season and he gets suspended?
Yeah.
What's the latest? I haven't heard.
Yeah, but she dropped some dollars.
Gino got off. They dropped the DUI
Yeah,
charge.
Gino got off, but he didn't.
Is it Eskridge?
Yeah, he
Eskridge had what's it
domestic
called?
violence.
Yeah, but I mean the policy, the NFL, policy that says, okay, if you do that,
Personal conduct.
thank you, personal conduct policy. He violated that, so now he's suspended for
Well,
4 games. how many games?
it's actually worse than that, because the brother got hurt on the very first preseason game.
Oh damn!
So,
I said earlier that I'm behind. I'm catching into the middle.
Right.
What happened? What was the?
Okay,
he beat up his girlfriend.
He had a domestic violence case.
Recent.
Yes, not like day before yesterday, but a while back this year. So the NFL
Was investigating.
investigated after the authorities investigated, and he violated the personal conduct policy of the NFL. So he has to be suspended. He has to have some punishment under their rules. So, and you know, I don't know what happened with
What
the case.
position does he play?
But
He's receiver.
he was found guilty, so that's why he's been suspended. But in the meantime, the brother got hurt last Thursday,
At
the
training
first
camp.
preseason game. So his suspension was for 2 or 3 games. Is going to be longer because they say he's out for 12 weeks now.
Yeah.
So the likelihood is,
How come they can't
he
just
lost
bleed a
his
suspension
job.
into it might hurt? Like, look, I'm already out, so I'm suspended, right?
Right. But that was the whole thing. He was already suspended
for the regular season.
for 4 games or whatever, but now he's hurt, so he got that 4-game
So,
suspension.
once you're
and
better, then you're
8
suspended.
more weeks.
So now they're talking that he's going to be replaced on the roster
Right.
by this Jake Bobo.
Who is a pretty good receiver from UCLA.
So
I remember when they kicked that butt last season. That would be the Huskies.
so I'm just wondering why that always seems to happen.
Well, no,
It always seems to be, and realizing that, you know what, you can't have guys that drink milk on your team all the time. Like Russell Wilson. You got to have some badasses.
Man, Russell had some wine with Seattle.
So you're
Total
saying
milk,
somewhere in
man.
the middle is where we need to be.
Basically, what we need to do is keep our fucking hands off of everybody
I'm
except when
saying.
you're on the field. That's
Especially,
your job to put your hands on people on the field.
I'm
But
like,
off the field,
keep your
people-
hands to yourself.
Yes.
That is not a hard thing
It's
to
not.
do. But when you're a professional football player specifically,
Yes.
my uncle Mario said it the best when he played in college. He said, you get to legally assault people.
Exactly.
You already get to do that. Why do extracurricular off the, like, I don't get it.
Exactly.
Keep your hands to
Exactly.
yourself.
Therapy chairs.
Therapy chairs.
Therapy, when you feel like, bitch,
You can
grab
take,
your
you
therapy
can take
chair.
you a chair and just
Grab
bang
your
on
therapy
shit.
bring it on your own.
You
There'll
know?
be a memory foam chair. Just, pow, and it just
So
goes
look,
back.
Therapy chair.
Once again, if you guys didn't did that,
Right.
find your feet,
Hey.
because it's our idea. He's going to share with us, maybe.
I got you.
Yeah, right. Because there's gonna be.
But the whole thing is, that's why do people have to put their hands on other people to prove their point or to try to get their point across?
It's okay to
You know,
walk away.
Well, probably because a lot of them folks, before they do it, they do the MC Hammer thing.
Uh-huh.
Can't touch this dude.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Right, but that's the whole point. It's like, look, don't put your hands on people. And that doesn't only go for athletes and entertainers. That's for everybody. Keep your goddamn hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't just go from 0 to 60. Stop, you know, and say, wait a minute, hold it, this is getting out of hand, and walk the fuck away. Why do you have to sit there, and especially someone that's weaker than you? Not that men are superior to women, but physically, most men are built more muscular and stronger than most women. So why? What?
He said I'm petite.
No, that's okay though. That's okay.
Oh,
Cause no, I know women and have met women that will beat your ass, or maybe all of ours together.
And I may have to
That's
watch.
not the point. There's exceptions to every rule. What I'm saying is humans should not put their hands on other humans. Point blank, plain and simple.
So what if we making love?
Huh?
Okay.
Exception.
No. I'm talking about in a menacing manner.
Yeah, and who needs hands to make love? No.
And I mean, the thing is, that's true. You don't necessarily need your hands to make love. Because a lot of people, lot of people are tied up in that kind. There's all kinds of kinky shit going on.
There are baby snakes.
That's
So-
right.
So,
Yeah, what he said. But the fact remains, human beings stop and think. Do not put your hands on other people in a menacing manner.
right.
Okay. Now, anyway, moving right along. I'm gonna step down off this soapbox.
No,
Anyway,
that's real talk right there.
but that's stop and think. Because you're getting ready to cause a whole bunch of stuff that shouldn't have happened in the first place. All you had to do was just walk the hell away, or put your hands in your pocket, or whatever the hell you got to do. So
Here's the question. So the University of Colorado football team had a fracas in the middle of practice. And their coach, Coach Prime, had something to say about it. And it wasn't what most folks would think a coach would say. What he said was, "What are you doing? I saw 3 people walking away from this fight. What are you doing? Your brother is in a fight and you're walking away? Unacceptable." He got on him for not getting in the fight.
right, but that is on the field.
Yeah.
That's within the
That's in the
confines.
No, you mean
in practice, but
missing-
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think the point was
No, but I
fight.
think what I'm saying. But the
That's-
thing
yeah.
is, that's what. that's-
you're missing what I'm saying. That has nothing to do with what you're getting ready to say.
No, you don't know what I'm getting ready to say. Oh,
Yeah, I do.
fucking
I-
mind
by the way
reader.
you
I know
started.
how you are. What?
My point being, is that any way for a coach, a person of authority, a leader, to act? Because he's catching flack for that.
But still.
You ain't got to jump in,
Oh, sorry.
please.
I understand, I think I understand what Coach Brian was trying to say. And it wasn't that, hey, I want you to get in the fight. As Clifford said, that happened on the field, and that's your brother. Now, if they engage, those players that he pointed out were leaving the scene and not either one trying to break it up or try to stick up for some kind of way, be involved in that way. Not, hey, let's help to punch down this dude, but to be engaged as to we are all teammates.
Brother.
Brothers on the field. And so if something happens and you left, think about the brawl they had in Detroit, when Ron Artest, folks, some players, they didn't go to the locker room, they just walk away from it, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I think the question, now that that's the scenario, let's pose the question like this so we don't come at it from 2 different angles. If someone on a team or a couple people on a team get into a fight with opposing players and it becomes a brawl, do you think the whole team should be out there? Or do you think we should try to de-escalate by not having the team go out and help their people?
But that was the same team, okay? That was all his Colorado players. They got into a brawl with each other. It's just like when you get in a brawl with your brother in your family.
Yeah.
Sibling
Okay,
rivalry.
well let me
That
ask
whole
this
thing.
thing, because again,
Now,
I don't know the scenario. So was it offensive defense?
Could have been.
Yeah, it was.
It could have
Okay,
been.
and then I get it, because if you're on the field with an opposing team
Right.
and your offensive line is fighting and you walk away, that's a problem with team cohesion. Not saying it's right to fight,
But
but when you talk about the gelling of a team,
But
if
it's-
there's a
yes.
fight, I think it's better for everybody to be in it.
But-
I feel hypocritical saying
it's
that.
not. But it's not about being in it. It's just about being involved. Either trying to break it up, or just saying, hey, we're family.
Well, that
Hey,
wasn't
you know,
that wasn't his thing. That
What?
wasn't his thing.
What did
His
he-
thing was not break it up. His thing was
No, but
the
I mean, get
offensive,
involved.
defensive fighting, get in there.
I got a question. Back in the day, back in the medieval times, they had these guys, they called them berserkers. And in the battle, the berserker would just lose his freaking mind and just kill everybody inside.
Yeah.
Why do they allow hockey teams to have designated berserkers to go out there and kick ass?
They got
You
sticks.
get hired just for
Yeah.
your ass-kicking skills.
Probably because when somebody scores a goal, it's like a news flash.
Yeah.
So entertain me. But then I'd say the same thing for soccer, but people love soccer, but it's also like a news flash when somebody scores a goal. So I don't know.
Basketball. Remember all these guys that were like Maurice Lucas, the enforcer.
Yeah.
Remember all that? So
Yeah,
it happens.
the late 80s
It
NBA.
happens across all the sports lines. And the thing is, human beings have to be smart enough or conscientious enough to leave that shit on the field, on the court, on the pitch, and then act like normal human beings off the field. That's my point. They're gonna be fighting, they're gonna be acting crazy. In hockey, the referee's not gonna jump right in there after the first push. He'll let them get busy and wear themselves out. Then him and another ref comes to pull them apart. That's part of that game.
So here's a true story from back in the day. Day to you. We are FHS junior varsity. We're at a game, Chief Self Stadium. JV. So this brother from Self does a dirty play on one of our players, one of our running backs. And there's no late whistle, none of that. I mean, it's just a plain out dirty play. So we get back to the huddle, and our quarterback says, "Are you all right?" To the guy that was, he's like, "Oh, it hurts." I said, "Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Everybody, we're going at number, whatever his number was, right now on the hyper ball. That's who we're going after." And we went after him. 11 guys went after one guy in the football. But guess what happened? Chief Self took off their helmets. I mean, a big old brawl broke out in a JV game almost 50 years ago. Now, to me, the thing with Coach Prime, it was the same exact thing. Same thing.
Sure.
So, okay, so let's approach this from a different angle. We're talking about
Oh, yeah. Speak up a little bit. You're right.
young men, right?
Yeah.
And these are gladiators in the stadium.
Yeah.
They're trying to do whatever they can to get that paycheck in later life. How do you stop that from carrying over off the field? They go to the nightclub. They're the same person that you want to be involved in that brawl. Well, I'm not saying you personally. The same person, Coach Prime, and I kind of get what he was trying to accomplish, but that carries over off the field too. How do you stop that mentality? Because that's what that person knows when they, all the time. They can't turn it off.
Is it like a cop? You're a cop 24 hours a day?
I think that's a very good comparison. Because, in my mind, for a lot of these athletes, you think about, okay, I'm picking from the top now, but you think about a Kobe Bryant, who he said, I'm on go. I don't turn off. He said, when I'm not playing, I'm practicing. So you think about, like a football player, where it's all this aggression, a lot of times, they might not be able to turn it off. So then that leaves the question, how do you become a functioning member of society without losing your shit?
I think one way is mentioned about going to the club. You can't introduce alcohol. Let's just go to
There you go.
gonna heighten the opportunity for him
There
to
you
go
go.
off. It's gonna,
That's right.
whatever bar he had is gonna be lowered in. Couple
Right.
drinks, it's gonna be.
Sure, cause you know, I ain't driving, I just we got limo outside. Yeah, let's bring another bottle. Yeah.
But maybe you're not the guy that had to live, maybe you're the guy that had to go there and ship.
Yeah, it don't matter if you're the guy that shouldn't be driving, I don't care who you are. So, you know, what the whole point is, it's hard to go and take the violence that you experience 6 months out of every year of your life and take that off field and expect, you know what I mean? It's like.
But then I think it's fair for, especially with football, to factor in the traumatization that happens with getting your face smashed so many times.
Yeah.
How that may affect you in real life off of the field.
You can go back to Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. You know, it's like, okay, you know that this person is a violent person. That's his livelihood. When he's not doing it, he's punching things, and then when he's not punching things, he's punching people. So it also is incumbent on people around them not to push those buttons.
Like Robin.
You know, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you know the lengths that this guy can go to hurt people, why would you want to put yourself in that?
But that's a predatory position.
Right.
Yes.
However, it's like women that like badasses.
There you go.
They like bad
There
boys.
you
You
go.
know.
Until some bad shit happen, and then you like, yo,
It's hard to talk about it.
Right. You know.
They like badass. They like being around. You know, so I think
Yeah.
it's towards them.
So
I don't know if the light comes on for them, but it should.
Well, and I think in a lot of cases it doesn't. That's
Right.
why that same woman that got beat up by the badass,
Right. It's still.
she
working.
may leave him,
Get
but
another
she
badass.
finds another one who's another badass.
Yeah.
Because now in her mind, that's how they show that they care, is by kicking her ass.
There you go. So you know, there's all kind of psychology involved that we are not necessarily qualified to speak on. However, you are correct in my mind, because you see it a lot of times where, you know, this guy's got a reputation for, you know, domestic violence, and then there's always that woman that says, I can change him, he won't be like that with me. And the thing is, it's hard. There's psychological shit involved in that person's head that, you know, you don't know what's going on, but that's her attitude. You know, and, you know, shit, it works the other way, just not as often. There's men that, you know, want to be abused. That want to be abused, and they will go with women and look for a woman that will treat them badly. Psychological shit. You know, I mean, when I was a little kid in the projects in New Orleans, it wasn't nothing for you to come flying out the house and come a woman behind you with some kind of cooking utensil or a knife. I mean, you know, and then that guy, you know, you see him, and then a little while later, he done left her, but he's with another one. That just punch him out and shit. I mean, hey, it's a human thing. It just happens more, you know, with males than it does with females, but it's a human thing. You can only push people so far,
Right.
you know, and then you be like John Bobbitt. So, you know,
Ouch.
I'm just saying.
Ouch.
She pushed
oh,
her,
you talking about Lorena's husband?
yeah, he pushed her to the limit to where she thought that's what needed to be done. I mean, you know?
That's the thing about pushing people to whatever perceived
Yes.
limits you think they have.
Yes.
You don't know somebody else's limits.
But
They could
once
be-
it was reattached,
Right?
He did a porn
He became a porn,
He did a porn
porn actor.
That's what I talk about. That's marketing. People
Right.
want to know what the hell going on with that.
But the
they
fortunate,
wanted to see it.
no.
And so he
But the
said, you're going to pay
fortunate
for
part
it.
of all that is they found it, because she took it with her after she took it with her when
She threw it in the
rolled
tall
up
grass.
and threw it out the window.
So So this was a new horizon.
Yeah, I reckon so. I definitely think that could be what it was called. But I mean, that's the thing. People, you know, that the TV show called Snapped. Have you
Oh,
ever seen
Snapped.
that?
Yeah, it's on the oxygen.
these guys push these women to where they just snap.
I think that you should never let your spouse fall asleep watching Snapped or How to Get Away with Murder.
Right.
If your significant other is into them two shows and you just be laying in the bed next to them, they plotting. I'm just
You know what I'm
saying.
saying?
They're getting
Yeah.
all the info.
Yeah.
If they suddenly show an interest in sharpening knives, okay,
Right.
that's a warning.
You know.
Or poison certain breakfast in bed.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Tiny little bits of arsenic and shit over the years, and then your ass is gone. Like,
What if you make some chocolate chip cookies
oh yeah, that's another one.
with the right ingredients?
The new way is antifreeze.
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 Oh my God. What?
We have an expert here.
Antifreeze.
It works really good.
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze, yeah.
And there was something else too. I can't remember right offhand.
Insulation, you put that in the meatloaf, you know?
Oh yeah. But there was something else. I cannot remember what it was, but it would cause like great discomfort. If somebody ingested it, you know. Not strict.
How about glass?
Glass is
Put that in
good.
meatloaf.
Glass is good. You have to pour.
Yo, I don't like this conversation. I'm gonna call executive producer. Let's move on to the next topic.
I don't, you know, it's amazing how much, how well read we are that we know how to get rid of people on that level. Anyway,
Yes,
I've read about it.
that's what I'm saying. Here's a disclaimer, we've never actually done any of the things that we were just talking about. We just know that it
We
has
watched
been
it all
done
on
in the
Hallmark
past.
movies.
On Dateline and books.
I know, and
Yeah.
it works.
And books, like, you know, you always have these thrillers and stuff. Yeah.
We got a few more minutes.
So-
Guys want to hear one more topic?
Oh, yeah. What do you think? What's on
Whatever
your
happened to
mind?
whatever happened to the Pac-10 or Pac-12?
For
Pac-8?
They screwed that
for
contract.
the Pac-4.
Before losers,
Who's left? Washington State.
No,
Cal,
Washington
State.
State, Oregon State, Cal, and Stanford.
Nobody wants Stanford.
Wait a minute, what about Arizona and Arizona State, did they?
Big 12.
They went to the Big 12.
I see.
Stanford acted like they didn't want to go.
Well, the whole point is they don't. But the problem is, in today's football climate, you can't be an independent anymore.
You need a TV
Most,
market.
Yeah.
most all of the teams. I mean,
Is
you know,
Notre
you
Dame
got to.
affiliated with anybody?
They bouncing it out.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
I don't
No,
know.
they didn't deal with the AC.
Are they with the ACC now? Because they was trying to get into this conference, and they said, no, we can make more money without y'all.
Football independent.
But that's the whole thing. It's just, you know, it's about the money and stuff. And Cal was actually doing pretty well this last season, but now they don't have nobody to play against. So, you know.
Well, they might have to join, I think, was it the Big Sky with Montana, San
Oh,
Diego
yeah,
State?
yeah.
What the
The
actually talking
West
about?
Coast Conference.
This
The West Coast Conference.
AAC
The West Coast
Yeah.
Conference.
Yeah.
And some of the other lesser conferences that weren't at the time Power 5.
They agreed.
Yeah, so
They were have to play,
at the
what's the matter
AAC
with you?
is talking about Memphis and South Florida and two other teams folded in with the Pac-12 teams, along with Boise State and San Diego State
Yeah.
to keep a Pac-12.
Right.
And they're talking that right now.
Oh, say those teams again. They
So
were
now,
Boise State,
I got teams from Florida, got to come all the way
Say
out
those
here,
teams
and
again.
vice versa.
South Florida, Memphis,
What? the
Boise State, San Diego State, and there's two more. And they didn't, I don't think they actually named them.
I wonder if Fresno is
From
involved.
the AAC.
Yeah.
That's a lot of travel.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's
a
what
lot
we
of
got.
traveling now.
That's what we got with Pac-12 teams that go to Big Ten. They're gonna be over there in Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, Maryland,
But that's like what, one trip a year?
Rutgers.
Maybe 2 trips a year?
Huh?
That's like maybe
Well, if-
1 or 2 trips a year.
No, well, the thing is, usually with most conference teams, you have a home and an away. So if you
Right.
play this year at your place, next year it's their place, then next year it's your place. So that's conference teams. But with all of the other teams available, non-conference, that want to make a buck by playing a team that's going to bring in
Sure.
70, 80,000 people instead of my little stadium that holds 35.
Yeah.
So that's what happens, but you end up, sometimes you have to fly all the
Yeah,
way across
That's a lot
country
of
for
money
that.
for a small program.
Exactly, that's why they do it. That's why all of these small colleges always try to schedule a big-time college on their
Right.
off-season, out of conference schedule, because that team has a stadium that holds 105,000 people, like Ohio State, 90,000. So if you go in there and that's sold out, that's part of what you get for flying across country to get your ass kicked on national television.
Yeah.
And you know, Michigan, 105,000, big gigantic stadium. Ours holds 75. So when you got that kind of revenue just for playing a game, you fly, because that pays for that.
So what's that gonna do to the road?
To the what?
The Rose Bowl, I know. Well, the Rose Bowl got, when they started that bowl game situation, where they had the 4 teams, the playoffs,
Yeah.
the Rose Bowl and all that, like every year, one of those teams didn't have their normal participants. Rose Bowl originally was Pac-8 and the Big Ten.
So are you saying that the Rose Bowl is always going to be one of the 4 sites?
It could be, right now, that whole Big
Yeah, it
Ten,
could be because they might expand it to 6.
but that Big Ten, maybe even 12, but that Big Ten,
Back then.
Pac-10 or Pac-12, as it eventually got to, originally it was Pac-8. And then they would, you know, well, the Rose Bowl, and that went back for years and years and years, where the Big Ten played the Pac-8 or 10 or 12, where the hell it was, for the Rose Bowl. And that was one of the biggest bowls, had 100-something thousand, you know. That was back when we only had like 4 bowls, remember that?
Yeah,
Instead-
well, that was one of them.
That's in 40.
If I may, I think next week is going to be the first GOP debate.
Debate.
One,
45,
if anybody don't be watching that.
45 is thinking about skipping it.
And 2, I understand that, my understanding that all the participants have to sign this pledge that they are going to support whoever the nominee is going to be.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's like holding a gun to the head or something.
Pretty much. That's how, yeah, you know, especially if it's one of the people you really don't like.
Look for Chris Christie to drop the bomb.
Oh, yeah.
He don't care if we don't play.
That's true. Yeah.
You vote for him?
If I had to vote for a Republican, he'd be the kind of Republican I could vote for.
I don't know. Now there are other people talking about starting up a third party to dilute
Not Tim
everything.
Scott?
Who?
Although
Yeah,
Tim
no.
Scott has caught up in one of the polls to DeSantis.
Well, they none of them caught up to
They want to lower the
45.
bars.
Well, they've been losing points and they've been going to people other than Trump even.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Trump people, it's time for us to get up out of here.
Speaking of Trump people, us,
Yeah, yeah. Hey, thank you
Thank you.
for joining us
We're not Trump people.
for another exciting, stimulating episode of Old Black Men Conversations.
Yes, thank you very much for, as always, thank you for supporting us. And like Clifford said, those folding chair ideas, we're gonna be looking at, we're gonna be policing everything.
We're scouring. We're scouring the interweb.
Yeah. So anyway, be well, stay safe, but mostly be good to yourself and try to be good to others. Stay hydrated.
All right. Once again, I'm the real Cliff Barnes saying, be safe, and also don't forget about the Maui thing. So donate if you can to legitimate organizations. And also, if you like us, tell other people about it. If you don't, shut your goddamn mouth, keep it to yourself. Also, like us, share us, and because we love you, so, you know, just say it. And subscribe to Say It Loud, YouTube, and our segment is called Old Black Men Conversation, and we will see y'all next week. Or whatever.
Uncle Jesse getting ready to sign out, but just keep in mind, trade your AK-47 in on a folding chair.
There you go. Hope everybody does it.
Just want to say thanks for inviting me to be part of this barbershop open forum conversation with my old brothers here. It's been real. Stay hydrated, stay safe, love one another.
Peace.
We're not.
Humans for humans.